Hi everyone. I'm gonna make another video today. Bear with me. I am pretty much just brain dumping. I'm probably gonna make two or three videos today, and I don't know what this video is about. I don't want to edit too much. I have a lot on my mind that I need to sort of get off my mind, and so on. So I think this video is going to be about like a bit about the war in Iran, sorry, between America and Israel and Iran, and just a bit about maybe socialism, um, and so on. Because I was speaking to someone. I don't know which channel this is you're viewing this through. If it is a channel associated with anti-feminism. Also, I want to explain why I haven't been actively speaking out or anything or saying much at all with respect to anti-feminism. I'm like I'm on a podcast with a girl that I do often on her channel and stuff, but I haven't posted anything to any channel of my own or anything like that for a long while, since uh, Trump won, basically. And that is because I don't really agree with. I was unhappy, I guess, about the fact that Trump was put in place in the beginning. Not so much, I guess, but pretty soon I was very unhappy with that. Uh, Now, yeah, I sort of pride myself on someone who says I'm in between, I'm a centrist, whatever. I don't have an opinion or whatever. In this way, I like to sort of explore all sides, make no judgments, and say that every opinion is valid. So that is my general opinion when looking at things political and so on. I like to say it's quite complicated. It's always very complex. You can look at it from many different angles, and we have to not make judgments, right? Sorry that it's so dark. I'm gonna leave it dark. Sorry, I can pull my curtain, but well, um, moody, and also I probably think I'm pretty ugly anyway, so you don't want to see me. So, okay, so what I was saying is that I sort of look at everything as it's quite complicated, and there are two, three sides, 50 sides. We can look at it from many different angles. Don't make any judgments, right? So initially, of course, I wouldn't have made any judgment about Trump. I'm like, okay, whatever, left, right, it doesn't really matter. There are points on the left, there are points on the right, and everything comes together however it should be. Different times we need left, different times we need right. It's all fair and good and wonderful, right? Yeah. So, but that with what Trump is doing, it's very much, I don't know if it's too right or right wing or whatever. I don't know what he's doing, but the point is, I don't agree with it. I felt really terrible about what was going on with ICE kicking people out of the country who were there. I don't care if they're illegal or not. I don't agree with the classification of humans as illegal. I don't agree with nationalism. I don't agree with any of those things. And I'm not saying that borders make no sense. Having a nation makes no sense. I understand the concept of sovereignty and why we have sovereignty and why things are set up in the way in which they are. But at the same time, we have to be flexible in our ideas about these things and understand that these are simply classifications that we invented for particular purposes, and outside of those purposes, they are not meant to actually mean anything or have any value. And to me, the concept of nationalism is inherently discriminatory, racist. I don't agree with it. I don't see myself as belonging to any particular nation. I am not a nationalist. I don't treat people better because they're from this country or worse because they're from another. I don't agree with you can get a job just because you're from here. I don't agree with any of that. I don't feel more empathy for someone because they're from one country as opposed to the other or anything like that, right? So I'm not a nationalist. I don't agree with nationalism. If someone is living in a country and has been living in a country for a very long time, has not been doing anything wrong, has contributed to the country, has felt as though they should be there because, you know, I don't agree with kicking them out. I don't agree with anything that America is doing in terms of their anti immigration, but obviously people voted for that. That is what happened. So I started to feel very negative about that. And I know that anti feminism is associated with the right. So I didn't want to continue speaking on those issues, or even within groups on those issues, because I don't want to be associated with anything to do with Trump or with the right now, because I think the right has gone too far. So it's too far right for me. I'm out, right? And then just recently I was talking to someone about I was talking to someone about uh the war in Iran. It started off with the war in Iran, and then somehow we got into like talking about capitalism and um, communism and socialism and stuff like this, right? And this person is a very pro-capitalist person, um, or was saying that they are pro-capitalist or whatever. And I was like, no, well, actually, there are many different sides, and I want to sort of explore that topic, look into it, and I don't know, talk about it a little bit, right? So, a lot of people make the argument that capitalism is right because it's human nature and so on. Now, it's not that I'm anti capitalist, I'm absolutely not. I agree that capitalism is a part of human nature. I agree it's the natural system, it's what we naturally do, and that it works in a normal sense. If under certain conditions it works very well, it motivates people. If I get to work and keep the fruits of my labor, that will encourage me to work more. I will continue to work more and more and more, and therefore I produce more, and this is good for society and it can work out. But just as people say that capitalism is a part of our human nature, and when they say that, they talk about, in a sense, what you're saying is that selfishness is a part of human nature, wanting to keep whatever you produce for yourself and to use it for yourself. Selfishness is a part of human nature. So then we can extend this to colonialism, imperialism, colonialism, whereby a country says the fruits of whatever we do on the outside are for us. We go out, we take from others, and we bring it back to ourselves. It's a very selfish perspective. Imperialism also, we gonna do all this, like beat up all these countries and get um our businesses into these countries so that we receive the wealth back into our country. And so America is sort of doing a new sort of, at least it looks like their intent is to do some sort of imperialism towards other countries. Let's go bully all the other countries, open up all their markets, have our companies go into these countries, and whatever gains these countries make, we're going to it's going to reflect back in terms of our tax dollars. It's going to reflect onto our people, and we capture those gains. Um, so this is a very selfish perspective associated with free market capitalism, right? So in a sense, you just free the market, you don't put all these checks in, whatever, in an extreme sense, right? And people say, or the person who I was talking to was saying, they weren't talking about imperialism. They're just talking about normal capitalism. Just you go out and work, you keep your money, you use it however you want to, right? And how much you work reflects how much. And so they're saying that those who become very rich, it's a reflection of how much they've contributed to society, and therefore they should be able to keep all of that wealth because they've contributed more than the person who's very poor, right? And they're saying this is in line with human nature. It should stay. This is human nature. And I just want to say no. This is not human nature. I mean, yes, this is human nature. Yes. Of course, that is a part of human nature. But on the flip side, it is also human nature to ask others to share. It's human nature to be selfish, but it's also human nature to be jealous. It's human nature to be selfish, but it's also human nature to be empathetic. It's human nature to be selfish, but it's also human nature to share. Okay? And so, therefore, when, let's say, there's a big divide and people at the bottom start to say, no, we need socialism, you can't say that it is human nature for the rich to be super selfish and keep all their wealth, but it's not human nature for the poor to say, hey, that's not fair. I'm working really hard. You don't seem to be working as hard, yet you have way more than I do. I need more. So the thing is, capitalism will be selfish, but socialism would be as well. I mean, capitalism is human nature, and it will always be, and it will always exist. But human nature, but socialism is also human nature, and that movement against capitalism will always exist and will always be a part of our nature as well, because human nature doesn't come just in one form. It comes in multiple forms, and it changes depending on the situation, and the degree to which we will be capitalist depends on the situation. The degree to which we will be socialist depends on the situation. So there's no one formula. It depends on like a multitude of factors come into this, and then whatever the result is, whether it's more capitalist, less, or whatever, will be dependent on what the inputs are, what people are facing at that time and in that place, and so on, right? So I just want to say I dislike this argument that just because it is our human nature, then colonialism is okay, imperialism is okay, capitalism is okay. And I'm not saying that I'm anti-capitalist. I'm not saying that I don't understand the measures or whatever behind colonialism or imperialism. I'm not saying that I'm anti these things necessarily, although to be honest, um, I have some issues with certain things, how selfish people are. But anyway, I'm saying that human nature exists in multiple forms, and it is also human nature to ask others to share. It is also human nature to care about the welfare of larger groups. It is also human nature to, for me, for example, to see all human as equal, and not these humans as better or worse than the other. And that is also a part of my human nature. And so, yeah, bringing it back to this whole war in Iran and thing, this is something that Trump is doing. I totally really hate his presidency. I am very upset about it. I don't like it. I wish I could use my voice to speak out against it, but I don't know that I can. I'm sorry, it's so dark again. I don't feel very pretty, so I don't know. I don't really want to show my face. So um just live with that. But at least you can see me a bit. So what am I saying? I'm saying this is one reason why I haven't been very active. If this is a channel that you're viewing this on associated with anti-feminism, because I think I will probably post this to my personal channel as well, which means, well, I've not been active just because I don't really post to this channel. So uh and yeah, I want to make my stand. I don't agree with Trump. I don't agree with the right now. I don't see myself as very right. I see myself as way more left. The only good thing about Trump is I think that the truth is that this type of imperialism has been going on for a really, really, really long time, and that he has finally uncovered it by trying to move so quickly. um, People are able to see it, and I feel like this is like one chance that people have to fight back and to somehow stop it, and they may do that because they can see it. I think when you move very, very slowly with this sort of imperialism, then no one sees it, no one notices it, no one understands it, and that creates bigger problems in the long run, because at the end of the day, it's the same thing, where one set of people have everything, the other set, and don't have to work, and the other because they've inherited it, and the others do not have it all, and no one cares. And it's the same as an apartheid system, it's the same as racism, it's the same as everything that we've had historically, where groups are divided. One is seen as better than the other, and the other, and this is not, I don't think that I can say that I accept this system and that I like this system. I don't fall on the side of this system naturally that is on the upper end, but in many ways I do, because okay, I live in a first world country, I don't really have any financial problems, I don't work. So yes, in many ways I'm very, very privileged. I'm grateful for that privilege, but I don't think that it is right, in a sense, that so many people fall on the opposite side. And I don't want to create or support or advocate for a world that is so unequal. We will always have some measures of inequality. Inequality will always exist in some ways, and yeah, maybe that's useful to motivate us to compete and to strive for more and to get to where we need to be. And that's why this sort of competition and capitalism and selfishness and all of that exists within us in terms of our humanity. We'll always have inequality, sure, but there are extents, and what America is doing right now, the way in which they're doing it, how quickly they're doing it, and stuff like this. This is unveiling the truth of something that they've been doing for a very long time, which is going into countries all around the world, changing heads of governments, manipulating things so that they can get advantages for their companies, advantages for their people in terms of the dollar, get countries to trade in the dollar, which strengthens the dollar so that they can use a much stronger dollar despite having not produced as much as other people. The strength of their dollar is backed by the military, by the fact that the military is able to change heads of governments, by the fact that the military is able to keep the heads of governments that they prefer and that do their biddings and that trade in their dollar in place. And all of these things, this is imperialism. This is not very different from, this is a different form of colonialization. It's of course happily less invasive, thank God. So at least there's that. But it is not fair to the world. It is not fair to the global south. It is not fair to poor people. And it creates, and it can only stand, or it can only exist in an apartheid system. It can only exist in a system where we say the global south is worth less. And this is why you see things like Palestine, whichever different countries, and now Israel. No, not Israel. What's it called? Iran. Sorry. Who, for example, they they do something, and then the UN comes out, and every single country around the world who is asked says Iran is wrong. Nobody talks about the fact that they were attacked first. Nobody talks about the fact that it these heads of governments are controlled by imperialist powers, because they will not say the truth. They will not say the obvious truth that they were attacked. Iran was attacked. Iran is innocent. And now, yeah, of course, a lot of people hate me because, oh, Iran is a dictatorship. Oh, Venezuela was run by a dictator. Yes, yes, this is absolutely true. Live by the sword, die by the sword. I agree. They would have done whatever nonsense within their country in the same exact way as the rest of the world is doing, which is that they are based on the same live by the sword, die by the sword principle, the same capitalism, the same selfishness, the same, they beat up everyone or silence everyone who is against them in order for them to maintain their power. They use violence, they use force, and all these things are horrible and bad and not good. Yeah, okay, they shouldn't do that within their country, but two wrongs don't make right. Two wrongs don't make a right, okay? Just because they've done something wrong doesn't make what the other thing wrong. And of course, this comes into morality. Who am I to say it's wrong? Who am I to? That is nature. It's human nature. It's human nature for us to live by the sword. It's human nature for the strongest to oppress the others. It's human nature for us to compete and win. Okay, yeah, that's part of human nature. But yes, we also have another part, and I am speaking out from this other part of human nature. It's also human nature for us to seek justice. It's also human nature for us to seek equality. It's also human nature for us to say that that is unfair. It's also human nature for us to say that the lives of the people in poor countries, whether it's Palestine or Syria or Iran or Sudan or Congo or Haiti or Cuba or Venezuela or wherever, the lives of the people in poor countries should have the same value as those in richer countries. And therefore, the UN and all of these heads of government are wrong. They are wrong to side with imperialism. They are wrong to side with wealth. They are wrong to side with power. They are wrong to side with might. They are wrong to side with violence. They are wrong because we have human nature that seeks justice. We have human nature that seeks fairness. We have human nature that seeks empathy. We have human nature that seeks equality. And this is not equality. This is not equality, not because we are born in poor countries, not because we are born without money, not because we are born without, does it mean that our lives should mean less. Everyone's life should have value. Okay. And and I wish that the world was nicer. I wish that more people will use the good and empathetic part of their human nature to fight against this, the socialist part of their human nature, because we don't just have one human nature. We have many. Okay. Please, it's not just capitalism. It doesn't just have to be violence. It doesn't just have to be the strongest. It doesn't just have to be you. We have to fight, and we have to say, and we have to speak out, and we have to say that this is this is wrong. That's the bare minimum. The bare minimum is that we have to shout and be loud and say that this is wrong, and say to the heads of government, say to all of our European heads, and the heads of government in these other countries, in every single other country who went to the UN, who is in the UN, who is voting this nonsense, that not everything in life is about money, not everything in life is about economy, and that right is right and wrong is wrong, and equality should exist. So that's the end of my video. I just wanted to rant about that, to at least put it out there, so that it isn't that I remained silent for the entire time. And yeah, if I'm gonna put this on my anti-feminist channels too, and I know that I have a lot of people who support Trump or whatever on this. I don't care. If you have to unsubscribe, please do. I am That's who I am. I don't judge political parties. I don't judge people on the left or right. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie and say that we have just one human nature and that the strongest should survive. Just like the left gets me quite upset when they go like all this, oh, love, peace, and everything is love, peace. No, everything is not love and peace. At the same time, we live in a competitive society. The truth is, strongest have certain amounts of power, and this is real. This is a real, normal, natural, fair that exists on the right. These things are real. This is why we have certain traditional societies, and why people build up arms and so on and so on. That's all real. So I hate when the left says that all of that is not real. It's just fear mongering and crazy people, and we don't need, to have society in a certain way, and actions have no consequences. But at the same time, the right cannot pretend that it's all just, oh my god, this super fight for in nature for survival and nothing else matters. No, both of these things exist. Both left exist and right exists. Caring exists and selfishness exists. Selfishness is one part of our nature. Empathy is another part of our nature. Please keep it in mind that both exist. So there's no capitalism is the way and socialism is trash. At different points in history, socialism will make complete sense if we have huge divides between people, and the people at the bottom cannot get anything. Then it makes sense for them to revolt and to take what the rich have, because the divide is too big. That is a very normal, natural part of humanity. Socialism absolutely can make sense, whether in a degree or in an extreme form, depending on the situation. Capitalism also absolutely will make sense, whether in small forms or in large extreme form, depending on the situation. There is no black and white. There are no straight answers. There is no this is the way or that is the way. Usually the answer is a combination of all things, a combination of many different models and this and that, and whatever works to actually fix the problem. We need to stop this sort of black and white nonsensical thinking that, oh my god, communism is the devil. Oh my god, socialism is the devil. Oh my god, capitalism is the devil. Oh my god. No, none of these things are the devil. All of these things can work. All of these things have time, places, and all of these things are just ideas that should be implemented when necessary. At the same time, we need to accept that human nature is not just selfishness, but also the seeking of justice. That's why we have justice systems. That's why we have laws. That's why we have all of the things that we have. These things weren't just invented and are not a part of human nature. These things are absolutely a part of human nature. And we have to work with that. And I want that we would acknowledge that. And I hope that somehow this war, well, it will end, of course, but I hope that we come out of this stronger, and I hope that somehow these countries find their freaking balls and start to talk, and we hope that we win. I hope that the good side wins. I hope that equality wins. I want equality to win. Okay, I don't agree with the way in which America and Trump are behaving. I don't agree with the way in which he's bullying countries all around the world, um, and lying to the American people and telling them that they're victims of all kind of nonsense. Y'all are not victims at all. maybe you're victims, but you're victims of your own government. That's who you're victims of, not of the rest of the world. Um, and yeah, I hope everyone gets out of this better off, and that free countries can exist.